put yourself out in the world in places where you will be talking with your ideal customer profile.
Who would you be targeting? And besides doing cold outreach, do you have some ideas in terms of strategic relationships that I can go out and create to have access to those lower middle market companies that would potentially need our services?
Do you have an ICP that's more specific than lower middle market?
Not necessarily. I'm testing on LinkedIn outreach with everything from manufacturing to marketing companies to literally everything.
So,
I'm
so
just kind
the
of shotgunning it right now.
Okay. So I personally am not a cold outreach person. I'm always looking for what's the warm way in. And I find that there are two really, really good ones. One is put yourself out in the world in places where you will be talking with your ideal customer profile. That's ICP for anybody that didn't know, right? So what does that mean? Okay, well, let's say that I want middle market companies, and let's say that I define that as a company that's doing between 10 and $50 million in sales. Then I want to know, okay, if I'm if I can be more specific and say, like, if I'm talking to a company that is a SaaS, let's say, and I can tell that company in my pitch, I help SaaS companies with 10 to $50 million in ARR realize growth equal to blank, or solve hiring problems, or whatever their primary thing is. That would be the first place that I would think about maybe differentiating myself as what is the specialty, even if you pick two or three. Because when you're speaking to people,
Okay.
it's much more appealing to them if you relate to them than if you're a specialist instead of a generalist. Even though there's a lot to be said for being a generalist, most people want a specialist. So now you're going to be thinking about, okay, well, where do SaaS companies that have higher ARRs hang out? Well, number one, I probably wouldn't pick 10 to 50. At that point, I'd probably pick maybe they're 100,000 to 500,000 in ARR now, because I can really help those people get up to where they need to go. And the valuations are really good for companies like that. So there's masterminds. Dan Martell has a SaaS mastermind specifically. There are several others. Russell Brunson, I think, has one that's specific to that, a couple other guys. So I would be looking at all of the LinkedIn's, Facebook's, meetup groups, and individual guru type people who have events like SaaStr would be an event that caters to them. And I know you're not necessarily on SaaS. I'm just saying as an example. I'd be
Yeah.
Googling
Yeah.
where are all the events in these industries that I've picked? Who are the key gurus and players? Who's speaking at the events? Who's exhibiting at the events? The people who are exhibiting are potential customers of mine. The people who are speaking are potential partners of strategic partners of mine. So then I'm going to start to reach out to those people and talk about what they do and what I do and how it might be good to work together. I'm going to see where do they hang out? How do I get in touch with them? And how do I get to start having conversations? And then I will talk with them about that. When I'm at the events, online, virtually, in person, whatever, I'm going to talk to as many of them as I can. And so what do you guys do? Oh, we sell pet SaaSes to help veterinarian practices manage their medical inventory. Okay, great. That's really cool. Tell me about that. How are you guys doing? And then that's going to lead to me having some ideas of, well, have you guys ever thought about blank and blank and blank? Or do you do just in time, or you
Gotcha.
do, right? You having supply chain issues with that? Maybe I know some issues that a lot of them commonly suffer from. And I'd be like, do you guys ever have problems hiring people? Like the people that have the right designations? Do you guys ever have a problem with leakage where, maybe some, or shrinkage where some of your meds disappear? I know I've run into that a couple times. One of the things we found to do, oh my gosh, I do have that problem. One of the things we found that to do that is this. That's amazing. What do you do? Well, actually, I help companies like you solve problems like that. What else you got? That's how I work best. Or I'm
Okay.
talking to the people that put on the conference, or somebody that spoke there that has an audience of my ICP, and I'm going to talk with them and say, Man, I love the presentation that you did. Have you ever thought about this, that, or the other? Or I particularly liked where you talked about this. We've had with my clients, I run into a challenge where they blankety blank, and I bet your stuff could be really helpful for them. Would you ever have any interest in working together on some projects, maybe with my clients, maybe with yours? And then they say, "What do you do?" And you say, "Oh, it happens to be the thing that complements what you do perfectly that can make you a lot of money." And then they want to talk to you. That to me is just so much easier and more natural than banging out cold LinkedIn things. I know lots of people that do send out cold everything and do well. It's just not my style, especially for CFE deals.